TANYA SPEEDRUN chapter 10, and let's get right into it. Today, we are going to find out how to become a tzaddik, how to be fully righteous. You see, yesterday we were talking about the showdown between the nefesh eradicates and the nefesh bahamis, the godly soul and the animal soul. We're talking about each one of them, where they completely conquer, take over, dominate the whole person's body. And here's the thing though, that in order to conquer, dominate, take over a person's body, they have to kick out the other one. So now we're going to see how that plays out. In chapter 10, we're going to talk about what happens when the nefesh eradicates wins. And the main thing that we're going to really get down and dirty in this chapter is answering one of our big questions in chapter 1. So, it goes like this. You ready? That in chapter 1, we asked, why does it say in the Gemara that there's a tzaddik v'tovloi and tzaddik v'raloi, which literally means a tzaddik that it's good for him and a tzaddik that it's bad for him. And we also asked why in chapter 1 we said that there exists a tzaddik gomur, a complete tzaddik, and an incomplete tzaddik. What do all these things mean? So let's dive right into it. So there are two types of tzaddikim. Type number 1 is going to be the tzaddik v'raloi, the tzaddik that it is bad for him. You know why it's bad for him? Because he still has a little bit of bad in him. Why? How can a tzaddik, a perfect person, have a little bit of bad in him? Let's put it this way. Imagine the Yetzer Tov and Yetzer Hara fighting, the good side and the bad side fighting, and the bad side gets bullied into the corner. He gets shut down. The good side takes over. The person concentrates so much on doing good deeds, on prayer, on learning Torah, that the bad side has no point of expression. To the point it can't even express emotions. You don't even feel it. So it gets bullied down, it gets cut down, it gets shot down, it gets stuffed in the corner, and he never feels it. But here's the problem. Let's say you're walking down the road. Yeah, you have someone like Label, who's a big tzaddik. So he's walking down the road, and he's like, you know what? I haven't felt any negative emotions in a while. No lust, no anger, no, I haven't coveted anyone else's money. I haven't had any desire to hurt anyone. I have no desire to go against Hashem. I just enjoy learning Torah and doing mitzvahs, and life's going great. You might think that you're a perfect tzaddik, and you don't have an evil side. You don't have a bad side at all. And that's a very dangerous mistake. You know why? Because for all you know, you have a bad side that's hiding in the corner, that's so small it can't even express itself in your emotions. But it's still there. Why is that important? Because if you put your guard down, if you're not perfect, then maybe you'll be a little bit lazy, and the Torah will be able to struggle its way out of the corner, and the bad side will get a little bit bigger and a little bit bigger until you can get yourself into a lot of trouble. What is a tzaddik v'tovloi? So that's why it's called tzaddik v'raloi. It's tzaddik that is bad for him. He has bad. The bad in him is in him, but it's to him. He's the boss over it. He's in charge of the bad. He's beat it up and bullied it to the extent that he's gotten the bad out of the road, but it's still there. As opposed to the tzaddik v'tovloi, he completely got rid of the bad in him. That's why it said tovloi, it's only good in him. He doesn't have any bad at all. So let's look over here at the tzaddik v'raloi and the tzaddik v'tovloi, two different types of people. So the tzaddik v'raloi, a tzaddik that has bad in him, can have, let's say, 99% good emotions. Actions, he for sure does everything right. Thoughts, speech, everything right. Emotionally, deep down, he only feels good emotions. You know why? Because he has such a teeny tiny, minuscule amount of bad emotions that it never even gets to be expressed. His emotions are so busy pumping away his love for Hashem and his love for learning Torah and helping others that his emotions never get a chance to express any form of hatred or jealousy or Yetzer Hara. Now, besides the risk, there's also something big is missing out on. You see, let's put it this way. How do you know if you're a tzaddik v'tovloi or tzaddik v'raloi? What's the difference? Who cares that there's two types? If one guy doesn't have any bad in him, and one guy has a tiny bit of bad, what practical difference do they have today, right now, sitting next to each other? Hillel is a tzaddik v'raloi, and Label is a tzaddik v'tovloi. What's the difference between the one who has a teeny bit of bad but it doesn't express itself, and one who has no bad at all? Here's the big difference. You see, a tzaddik v'tovloi has something very, very special, and that is he has an extreme love for Hashem due to his recycling power. You see, Everything in the world, there's good things and there's bad things, but everything has a purpose. And that's why we have to recycle a lot. We have to turn the bad, we have to turn the junk and the garbage into good. And that's what the Tzaddik V'Tovli does. You see, you have lots of different emotions. Some of the emotions are invested and used by the Yetzer Tov, by the good side. For example, let's say you feel love. So you feel you want to love helping your fellow. You want to love davening to Hashem. But what about the emotions that are used for the bad side? Let's say you have lust by the Yetzer Hara, that it just wants to eat donuts and pizza all day and all night for 7 days and 7 nights straight. And what's going to happen? If you're a tzaddik that has a little bit of bad in him, it means this lust is so pushed into the corner that you don't feel it. But also, you haven't changed it for good. The fact that you don't feel your lust or your anger or any other negative emotion used out for good means it's still trapped in bad. So you're missing an opportunity. The main point here is not about the risk that maybe one day you'll have a problem. It's a missed opportunity. Every feeling you have is really good. Everything that Hashem made as junk, trash in the world is for a reason. It's for good. You have to just go and do some recycling. You have to say, wow, I have this terrible emotion. I get angry at people. Every time I drive down the road, I get road rage. I just smash into everyone. It's terrible. You have to use out the emotion for good. Maybe you should get angry at your failings. Maybe you should use out that passion and drive to run to shul and pray. So the Tzaddik V'Tovli, he got rid of the bad from him. And because there's no bad inside of him, what happens to all those emotions? What happens to lust or anger? So those emotions are still there, but the only way they can now be expressed is in good. And therefore he feels this incredible love for Hashem that's considered just like Gan Eden, just like heaven-like, that he just has pleasure in Hashem. You see, his emotions of lust that most people would love, their ultimate pleasure would be on vacation in Disneyland, sitting in a spa and eating pizza in one hand and a donut in the other while listening to relaxing music. And I don't know what else you like. What else do you like over here? Give me an example. Anyone else likes to? And eating cookies. Amazing examples. And what? Vegemite. Absolutely. And eating Vegemite while riding a kangaroo. So that sounds so exciting and amazing. All those feelings, you see, the tzaddik who has a tiny bit of bad in him because he got rid of all the rest of the bad, doesn't feel those feelings. He got over it. Most people just really, they wake up in the morning like, I wish I was in Disneyland. The tzaddik, he's like, I don't care about that. I just want to go learn and pray. But the tzaddik V'Tovli has gotten rid of bad from him. Therefore, he only has good. So these emotions are expressed in good. He wakes up in the morning and the same desire someone else has to go and do some extreme sin or some form of pleasure or anger, he feels all those. Wow, I wish I was in shul praying. You're like, wow, I wish. You walk past like a fast food joint and you're like, you know what? I could really do with a double patty and fries. And he like walks past a shul and he's like, ooh, I could learn some Gemara. I love that. He has all those feelings now expressed on the side of good. That's why it's called Tzaddik Gomor. Now we have the second meaning of Tzaddik. He's called a complete Tzaddik because he has a complete love of Hashem, as opposed to the incomplete Tzaddik because he has a little bit of bad in him. Therefore, it's still clinging onto the emotions and it's still holding hostage these emotions which could have been used out for good. So now we figured out these two types of tzaddikim. The tzaddik that's complete and has only good in him, that because he got rid of all the bad, therefore those emotions are used out for good and he has a complete love of Hashem. As opposed to the tzaddik that has bad in him, he's conquered the bad in him, he's keeping it hostage, he's keeping it captive. The bad is like a prisoner who never gets a say in the matter, but it's still there and therefore he still hasn't used out all its emotions for good. This is very, very important to do recycling. You see, a lot of people think that these emotions, they have so much bad in them. They have problems. No, you don't have problems and bad in you. You have an opportunity to be good. That's why it's called the animal soul. An animal isn't specifically bad. An animal is something that could be wild if it's a bull in a china shop. Or, on the other hand, it could be something that you use to plow a field and make food. You can then donate to poor people. You can really change the world with an animal. Isn't that incredible? But now that we figured out that the tzaddik viraloi, he's incomplete in his love of Hashem because he has still not gotten rid of his bad completely. Now let's talk about why there are so many different distinctions of tzaddikim. I'd like to say the following story. The great tzaddik, Reb Shlomo Karliner, came to pay his respects to the Alter Rebbe. And the Alter Rebbe, the whole town of the Alter Rebbe's town was so excited that such a great tzaddik coming to visit. So his daughter was very excited because she ran the kitchen and she thought she'll have the merit of cooking a meal for such a holy man. But then her mother comes in and is like, wait a second, it's my kitchen. I should get the respect. I should get the honor of doing it. And her daughter says, what do you mean? I cook dinner every night. That's not fair. So they came to the Alter Rebbe and they said, we're having a dispute. Who's right? Alter Rebbe heard both sides of the argument and he said the mother's right because really it's her kitchen. But the daughter also has a point. So the mother will cook the food, but food's never ready until it has salt. So the daughter will add the salt and it'll be considered if she cooked it also. So the mother's cooking away and she gets back into her old habits of cooking and she adds some salt because that's what you do when you're cooking. After the daughter comes in and very happily adds a nice liberal amount of salt. Then some other people around heard that if you add salt, it's as if you cook the whole meal. So someone else puts in a pinch of salt, a couple of other people put in a pinch of salt. By the time it comes to serve the soup, Shlomo Karliner takes a spoonful and he can't eat it. It's disgusting. It's like salt water. He looks at the Alter Rebbe happily eating away. So he's like, excuse me, how are you eating a soup? And he's like, with a spoon, you know. He didn't say that. But he's like, what's the problem with the soup? Shlomo Karliner said, it's so salty, I can't taste anything. The Alter Rebbe then concentrates and takes another spoonful. He's like, you're right, it is too salty. So he's like, wait a second, what was going on there? You didn't taste it? No, you did taste it? He's like, since I went to Mizrich, since I started to study under my teacher, the Maggid, I never tasted the taste of food again. So what happened over here? We had two tzaddikim, and they're both real tzaddikim. But one of them, there's still some feeling that he can appreciate the feeling of badness. As opposed to the other, the bad just doesn't exist by him. Physicality doesn't matter by him. He's used out all the enjoyment of food that a normal human person has towards his enjoyment for Hashem. But now let's talk about one more thing. That's why you have so many different tzaddikim. You read these stories about back in the day, they had incredible amounts of tzaddikim. It speaks about how there's, in the Zohar, there's 18,000 tzaddikim stand before Hashem. Those are all regular level tzaddikim. And it's not just one thing. There's tens of thousands of different levels of how much of a tzaddik rala you are. How much you bullied your Yetzer Hara. Did you bully it that it's only 1% of your feelings are bad? 0.1%? Is it 1 out of 1,000 is bad? 1 out of 60? Different people at different levels. And it's all different types. But then there's very few that it says in the Zohar that when Reb Chia tried to go up in heaven to the chamber of Reb Shimon ben Yochai, a voice called out and said, who approaches here? If you have not yet turned over darkness to light and the bitter taste to sweetness, you may not enter here. You see, because it's tzaddik v'toivloi, he is someone who he has turned over, he's done recycling, he's changed his bitterness, the bad side. He's changed the dark side of him to good, to light, to sweetness. The Yetzer Hara is now working for the good team. All the bad feelings are now turned to good feelings because the bad's been banished and all those feelings are only for good. And that's why they're called B'nai Aliyah, which means literally higher people, because they're higher in two respects. Number one, they have lifted up the bad to good. And once they lift up the bad to good within themselves, they can lift up the bad to good within the world. They can help others. They can help everything in the world be lifted from the bad to good. And the second reason why they call that is because they have the highest intentions. They don't love Hashem because they feel they want to love Hashem. They don't love Hashem to fulfill a need. They are just completely one with their feelings with Hashem to the point they do what Hashem wants because that's what Hashem wants. A regular tzaddik has only holy feelings. I love Hashem, therefore I serve Hashem. Him, it's not even about that he loves Hashem. This is just who he is. Doing Torah mitzvahs is just who he is. Therefore, he's a higher person. Those two work together, by the way. When you serve Hashem for the ultimate reasons, for the best intentions, then it causes that you change the world around you. Fine, so what can we learn from the tzaddikim? We could be maybe not a tzaddik, but maybe a little bit more like a tzaddik. Can't wait for tomorrow.